Now, Taurus, I have to confess that I'm not a Taurus at all, but I take interest in your readings because they've been such a saga, they've been so interesting. And I remember what happened last month. So excuse me for interpreting this through what I know happened last month. And that's probably the wrong thing to do because, there are many Tauruses out there and you'll all be on different trajectories. So if last month was right for you, this month might not be. But, it's such a narrative. I'll still go with it. This September is all about conflict. It's all about conflict, and it's a sort of a winner-takes-all conflict. Now, I warned you a long time ago that somebody that you were close to, somebody you loved, was a narcissist. Well, this is narcissism. This is narcissism that we're seeing here. And you went back to them, even though I mean, it's the tarot told you, that you shouldn't do it. And you thought you'd got happiness, you keep getting blessed. You keep getting blessed monetarily or financially. And, I think you feel you're doing well. You keep getting blessed, but you felt you were playing at happy families, and of course it was taken from you. It was all taken from you. And now, you're still blessed monetarily, and you've always fancied yourself as being good with finances, and I think you probably are. I want to give you another warning, but this isn't in the cards. But right now, those people who are being deceived over finance are those people who fancy themselves as being smart with it. Oh dear, is that an indication? Because this is all about deception here. Maybe I've talked myself into a different interpretation. We'll see. As a result of this, what I believe was narcissist that you got back with, they've left you with dependence. I'm not certain if this means that you've got children with them and you've been left bringing up the children. But I think there's a sort of a financial dependence. Something that you've been left carrying the can with here. Now, the way you seek out of this is through stepping into your power, and you've done this many times. And your power is somewhat conservative, somewhat tried and tested, somewhat authoritative. But it comes natural to you. It does come natural to you. And as a result of that, you're going to get some information. Hopefully it's information that, they were a narcissist, stop messing around, Hopefully that's the information you get. But your world is changing. Everybody's world is changing. And if you can recognise those changes and move on, things would be easier for you. Probably if you do recognise they're a narcissist, you would anyway. So maybe it's not bad news anyway. But yeah, let's get into it, Taurus. This spread or reading is dominated by deception. It's a rather nasty deception. It's a winner-takes-all deception. Childish is a better word than nasty, because once you can rise above it and see it for what it is, it's simply childish. And you look at the rendering, they've been fighting with the swords, and the one has won, and the others have forfeited their swords, but he's bashed them on their behinds with the swords as well, and they're going away saying, well, if you're going to be like that, we're not going to play with you anymore. This feels like the energy of a narcissist to me, and I've warned you that one of your lovers, or maybe a particular lover, was a narcissist. I say I mean it's it's a tarot that's warned you, you know, and you've not taken heed, and you got back with them, and an ending was brought about last month, wasn't it? Is this still dominating your mind? I think that's probably all this is about, but I need to be open to the fact that it could even be that there are more problems there for you. It could be that. I suspect it's the same one. I suspect it's you coming to terms. This month is about you coming to terms with it. Finally, I would add. Now, I think you felt when this person came back to you. I mean, you often seem to be blessed with good fortune. And I think you felt you've been blessed with everything. You know, it's a happy family situation. What more could you want? The love of your life, money, etc., etc. And I think that was, you were absolutely made up. Now we know last month that it came crashing to an end. And that was the universe doing it, because you'd ignored the messages from the tarot. You know, it came to a bitter end, and there was deception. So is that this deception that we're talking of here at the beginning? Maybe it is. I think it probably is. I think it was deception over money, or deception over something that you were sharing. There was some sort of a deception, and you were left carrying the can. You know, I don't know, maybe you bought a house or apartment, or maybe you even just put your name down for a year, you know, signed up for a year for an apartment, and they left, and it's a bit difficult now for you. I don't think it's that difficult for you, but nevertheless, you're carrying the can, I think, to a certain degree. So this came crashing down, you see. You thought you'd got everything. Now, very often for you, Taurus, we've had this card, the King of Pentacles. It's somebody that, well, it probably is somebody that's good with finances. But I also think it's indicative of somebody that thinks they're good with finances. And right now, there's been a lot of warnings from the universe that those are the very people being deceived right now. So is this another deception? Or I think this narcissist did take you in monetary terms. I don't think it's too bad. I think you're one of those who often come up smelling with roses. But so many tarot signs, zodiac signs, this September, their Achilles heel has been the fact that they believe they're sophisticated with finances, and that's let in the deception. So is it the same person, or is this a different deception? I think it's most likely the same, isn't it? Most likely to be the same. We'll see. And you know, I've said you've been left carrying the can of something, and this does indicate it. And this is actually in the future, sort of after September. Maybe it doesn't really hit you until after September. I mean, the standard way of seeing this, you know, I call it the single mother card, but of course you don't have to be female, and you don't have to be a parent. But you're left with obligations. So that's why I talked about sort of buying a house, or signing, you know, a year's contract for an apartment, or, you know, it's something like that you've committed to with this person, and they've left you. And maybe that's the extent of the financial fraud that I believe is behind some of this. Or it could be more. Well, this could be it, but there could be more, because you know, you're feel you're sophisticated with finances. So it's more likely to have been an investment or a business venture you've got into. I think. I mean, it could be children, it could be, but I think it's some sort of a financial instrument that maybe you've just simply been left with, but no, I get the impression that they have deceived you in some way. Yeah. Now, I've said that you fancy yourself a bit sophisticated financially. But the other thing that I've noticed about you over the years, Taurus, is you're that little bit conservative, that little bit authoritarian's too strong, authoritative. You're something of a authority figure, a father-like figure to people. And you're reacting to this position, and this is your sort of fail-safe. You becoming this authoritative, fatherly, but rather conservative sort of figure, but nevertheless very powerful. You're very powerful. And maybe that's why it's your default position. And this leads to the outcome. And I think it's important, but there is a shortcut that we're going to talk about next. And the shortcut is the Wheel of Fortune. So you learning the lessons from what's happened and moving on. Whereas you stepping back into this authority role isn't quite you learning the lessons. In fact, you're likely to repeat the mistakes of the past. I think this actual person, this narcissist, I think that's the end of them. They really have burnt their bridges this time. You're not going to take them back. But you are in danger of falling for another narcissist because you're a fool for love, and you are. So there is a danger of that occurring. It could be less painful if you could absolutely learn the lesson and move on. And I thought you were there a couple of months ago, but you slipped back. So you are quite capable of doing this. You are quite capable of doing it, because I think you were there, but you allowed yourself to slip back. Temptation. Probably that person came back to you, and yeah, I know what it's like. Why do I think you've learnt your lesson this time? Well, when you step back into your authority, the information you require, so the information that, yes, they are a narcissist, yes, you have been duped, comes to you, and the blinds come off your eyes and you realise. Now, I know when this has happened to me, you spend a long time hating them. Spend a long time wanting revenge. And that Wheel of Fortune could shortcut that, because none of those are what you need. You simply need to go no contact and move on. But the information does come to you, so you do know what to do. And it'll be fairly rapid. But let's get a little bit of clarity, check that I'm right on everything. So what is the nature of this deception? First card we get is the Page of Cups. This is you seeking something creative, but I think we're talking here of seeking love. The next card is the Fool card. You felt this was a new journey. So it was a new venture that you were undertaking with them. And the final card is the World card. And it's all happening so that the scales get removed from your eyes, which is what I thought. Let's talk about this individually. Now this Page of Cups, I said it was you searching for love, but I think there's another explanation. It could simply be that, but it's about opportunities. It's about new opportunities, creative opportunities, something new to you. Now this is what I think is where the deception comes in. And that is, with this narcissist, this ex-lover of yours, you planned a business or a something financial. Did they outright deceive you? I think they did, you know. I think they did. But I think the main thing is you've been left carrying the can with it. You're having to keep putting the money in, as it were. And they've run off. Have they run off with some of you? I think they have run off with some of your money, but I'm trying to find a way of explaining it, and I can't. You know, could a business venture that they got you into? You know, maybe you bought some stock and the stock was fraudulent and they were behind that. I'm not saying that's what's happened. I'm just trying to find an illustration that sums up my views on this. And this was for you something new. You know, you fancy yourself as something as financially astute. I think you'd not actually engaged in a sort of business opportunity with this person before. And you were committed, because you were committed to them, you were committed to this. And it probably was something a little bit outside your expertise. So I'm wondering if it's not finance, even though you think you're good at finance, but something that you were financing. So a business that you knew little about, and you bought, say, I'm going off now, but you know, you bought the stock and it wasn't right, or it's something like that. It's something like that. You didn't know what you were doing. There was an innocence about it, and you've been taken, yeah. And last month I told you that you'd not listened to the tarot. You'd not listened to the advice. And that's why this ending came. And that's also why this deception happened. Because of you needed to be shown that this wasn't the right person, that they're not to be trusted, that they are indeed a narcissist. And once you can fully accept this, and by fully accept, I mean also once you can forgive, completely move on, not let retribution or thoughts, why did I do this, why did that? Once you can release all of that, you really can move on. And you will ultimately be blessed, you will. But you do need to move on, and this all happened so that you could move on from it. Taurus, September's reading very much follows on from August's reading, by which a long-term lover of yours betrayed you. And we're now getting the details of it. They're a narcissist. I told you a long time ago, well, it wasn't me, it was the tarot that told you a long time ago they were narcissists, and sure enough they are. They've deceived you. You thought this was beginning a wonderful, happy, new things. Very much a new beginning. You went into some sort of a partnership with them, and they've defrauded you on that partnership, leaving you to pick up the pieces. And it's something, although you're quite financially astute, it's something that you don't really know a great deal about. And yes, you can deal with the financial side, but the actual business side, I don't think you know much about at all. And this has all happened because you need to move on. Will you be able to forget about them, not seek retribution, not be saying, what happened, why did I, Once that brain clutter goes, you can move on in life, move on to a new paradigm, and you will be blessed. But right now, you're reacting as you always do, and that is you're reacting by being a bit authoritative and conservative. But that does lead you to the information, to understanding what has happened. But you're still left picking up the pieces after September, struggling a little, and focusing on it, as I say, isn't going to do you any good. What you need to do is forget as much as you can. Certainly no contact with them. I think you've learnt that lesson. But what you've got to do is just stop even going through your mind what has happened, and let it go, and then you can truly move on. And that was the lesson for you, Taurus.